Hello there, Challenger Coach in here. So I want to talk about Brand. Recently he received a buff. He gets early on 10 and later on 10 more mana from his passive, which generally allows him to have more poke in lane, both in mid and bot lane. While also later on he's gonna have a bit more mana management. Later on it won't matter too much, but it's still nice to have 10 more in the late game. Now one of the notable changes is the 10% AP buff on his Q and 5% on his E. So what does that even mean? Just to be clear, even if it's just a 10 percentage, Brand's Q is very spammable. So it has 6 seconds cooldown when it's maxed out, and because you're gonna build Liandry and items that gonna provide you some degree of cooldown, it's gonna be usually like 4 seconds or even less depending on how much cooldown you have per moment, right? Now, the E-buff. What does the E-buff allow you to do? You have a bit more AoE damage in team fights, and it's easier to overall with these percentage buffs. It's easier to find lethal damage both in lane and outside of it. Uh, this will matter more when your Q becomes a little bit more spammy and you have more AP. Your E-buff allows you to slightly wave clear better, I suppose, right? And from the other hand, it's these are minor buffs early on. These are rather scaling oriented buffs. What buffs his early game is really his 10 mana and just a little bit you're gonna poke harder. So he gonna be better into champions that don't necessarily have sustain. Champions that have sustain, approximately the slaving phase will be approximately the same into them, of course. That's it from now. Have a nice day.